Hello everyone, welcome back to another game unboxing. Today I'm going to be opening Expedition. This is a role-playing card game. So Expedition, the role-playing card game. It runs off of an app which I believe is available on Android. They're still working on the iOS version, but on iOS, if you go to the website, it loads up and you're able to play the game with that through your browser. So we're going to go ahead and just get this open here. Just cut this plastic off. So there is the game. So we got the back as well. So let's go ahead and get the box open. Looks like there's some foam in there. We have a D20. We have these little clips. I think this, from what I've read, these go on to track your health, and you just basically clip it on and then move it up or down depending on if you take damage or heal yourself. Here are the instructions. So we have like a layout, how to lay the table out, and how the cards work. Then we have our deck. So for example, we have Arcane Ward on this one. So you're going to get this open here. So I believe there's spell cards, character cards, probably like equipment and so on. So what we have here. So we have, this is a creature, so we have undead creatures. That's an undead, undead. That's all undead. And we also have bandits. Beasts. And it looks like we also have Fae. And apparently these will tell you exactly what they are. So we have like a satyr, for example. We have more Fae. We have, these are the adventurers. So here's like a monk. We have a chef, hungry chef. So with the chef, for example, it says it starts off with 3 music and 3 ranged. So in the deck, apparently there are, you basically just draw cards out of that deck that represent music and ranged, and I believe you put the little clips on this bottom here. So you start off at 12, and then they deplete down to 0. For example, the monk starts off with 4 melee cards and 2 magic cards. So those are our adventurers. We have more of them in the deck right here. And we just dropped one. Couple. Get those in a second. We have some helpers. Let's see how many helpers we have. Helpers, and then of course there's also loot cards as well. Here's some loot. For example, loot, we have, this is a balance, like a balancing gem. So single use, reduce or regain one target to half health. So that's a piece of loot. More loot. More loot. More loot. More loot. And then we have, for example, these are the, I believe these are the spells. So music, we have Killer Solo. So probably like a bard would maybe use something like this. So um, it has what the die roll needs to be. So it needs to roll a 5 or more to deal 2 damage, and it applies to 1 target. So if it succeeds, it deals 2 damage. If you roll a nat 20, you deal double damage, so you deal 4. And if you critical fail, you take 2 damage. So these things will essentially almost GM for you, where normally your GM in D&D or something, if you roll a nat 20, usually something really good happens, so a critical success. If you roll a nat 1, it's a critical fail. So there is a card for music. We have also cards for melee. So this is the Sharpened Edge spell, and melee classes will be using this. So Sharpened Edge deals 3 damage, succeeds on a 9 or higher. It can applies to one target, does 3 damage. If it reduces a target to 0 health, you may deal 3 melee damage to an extra target. Nat 20 deals double damage, and a critical fail gives you take 3 damage. So we have there's melee. More music. There's also range, which I'm coming to now. So range, for example, would say we have withdraw. So target is yourself, succeeds on a 7 or higher, regain 3 health. If you roll a nat 20, you heal double health. And if you fail, you take 1 damage. So those are ranged. I believe basically in the beginning of the game, whatever character you're playing as, whatever class, you'll draw the requisite number of spells related to that class, and that will essentially be your hand of spells. What else do we have? And then we also have magic, so we're getting to our casting here. So magic, for example, we have a shockwave. So shockwave succeeds on a 12 or higher. It targets all enemies, dealing 2 damage. At 20, you deal double, and if you fail or if you roll less than 12, all allies and enemies take 1 damage. So even if you fail on this, it will deal damage to everything, but it will also deal damage to the rest of your party as well. So I believe those are all the cards. We also have these helpers. We haven't really... The helpers, I guess, are just your quick reference guide. So we have health, regain health. Die means you roll a d20. Number of targets damaged. The damage and the attack, the melee abilities, ranged abilities, magic abilities, music abilities, and drawing or playing cards, and then whatever tier you're on, I guess. And these are you just give these to the players, so they have a little cheat sheet, essentially, of what their abilities on their cards do. So let's take a look at some more loot here. We did the balancing gem. We also have a fireball scroll. So single use anytime. So essentially it's like a cantrip. Choose one. One target takes 3 magic damage, or 3 targets take 1 damage. So basically, yes, you use this, it gets discarded, and you choose which option you want to do. Take a look at some of the other enemies here. So in the Fey deck, we have stuff like shapeshifters, which are that's a tier 3 enemy, and it takes -2 damage from melee. And surge, put a random tier 1 beast on top of the shapeshifter. Updating the combat tier once reduced to 0 health. Resume fighting the shapeshifter. Basically, it becomes like shapeshifts into a beast. It looks like we got some beasts. So we have like a wild bear, for example. If it surges, all adventurers die. The lowest roll takes 2 damage. We have a bear. We have the bandit deck. That's just a nightblade, a tier 3 bandit. All adventurers take double damage from enemies this round. And it looks like this guy starts off at 20 health and it goes down to 0. We also have undead. So for example, we have a lich. 20 health, -2 damage from magic attacks. If it surges, is add 1 random tier 1 undead combat and update tier sum. And it also takes 20 damage. So I'm gonna go ahead. take a look at the rules, and I'll probably be doing a video, maybe just running through like a sample quest, because basically all the questing and all that will be done on a phone. Basically, just log into the app or load the app up on your phone. I believe Android actually has a standalone app, and currently on iOS. I didn't see it out on iOS yet last time I checked, but last time I checked, it was all available to just run on Safari on your browser. That's going to do it for this video. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.